Sometimes you're looking for a large emergency loan, you have bad credit, and you want fast approval, right? And it seems very complicated. You have no idea what to do. So in today's conversation, I'm going to actually spill all the beans that you need to have, so you have a clear idea how to actually make the whole thing happen real fast. Let me give you an overview here. So if you are trying to get a large emergency loan with bad credit and you want fast approval, first, you need to know where to get an emergency loan. See, the whole thing here is that I don't want you to waste your time going to banks that will not approve your ass in the first place anyway. You go to credit unions who don't care about you. You go to other institutions who really don't care about you. So you have to be strategic. See, your time is counted, right? You need a large emergency loan. Cash is tight. You probably need to take care of business. Something is happening in the house. You got to put food on the table. Whatever the reason is, you have to be very strategic. So where can you get an emergency loan? You have three places where you can get a decent emergency loan, a large emergency loan, at a decent APR. I'm not even talking about the payday loans and all those the car title loans that are just going to charge you crazy high APRs for nothing. No. We're talking about legit lenders who'll take care of you. So there are three types. Number one, you have online lenders. So I'm talking about Avant, talking about Upgrade. I'm talking about, those Lending Tree, Lending Club. Those are online lenders, right? So they don't have actually brick and mortar branches. They don't have branches that you can't actually walk into a branch and start talking to someone. No, everything happens online. But you know what? Sometimes those online lenders, they have the best rates, and they could really approve you real fast. Number one, online lenders. Number two, regular banks. So when we talk about regular banks, don't be afraid of regular banks, because you know what? Regular banks are there to help you out as long as you have the right relationship with them. You can actually get a large emergency loan with bad credit at your regular bank if you have a relationship with them. What we talk about now, the thing is that a lot of big banks, big national banks, they're kind of scared about personal loans nowadays. So Chase is not offering any loan at all. Wells Fargo, so you have the regional players such as the PNC, US Bank, Truist, BMO Harris, Fifth Third. Those are offering personal loans. So if you happen to have a relationship with them, go first there. You can also try credit unions. So remember that credit unions are great because they're first non-for-profit organizations, and they'll take care of you if you have a good relationship with them. You got to have a good relationship. If you have bad credit and you are looking for a large emergency loan, you need to have a good relationship. Let me first talk to you about now how do you get the loan itself. Okay, how do you actually get the loan? Now, the first thing is you need to shop around. Please do not go with the first lender. No, you want to shop around. You want to compare lenders. You want to compare and contrast all their offers. And even better, you have to actually, before you choose your emergency loan, I want you to really go for the loans that have a soft pull, because your credit is already bad. Okay, you already have bad credit. So you don't want to decimate your credit anymore, right? Because the whole thing is the 300 or 350 or 400 or 450 that you have, you want to save all the points that you can on your credit score. So you always want to systematically and reflexively go for loans that offer soft pull. So when you have a soft pull, that means that they just doing they will pre-qualify you, so you have a clear idea how much you might qualify for if you were to go further. It's really important, okay? So shop around and compare lenders. And the good thing is that you have a lot of websites that actually there are loan marketplaces. Lending Club, Lending Tree. So those are loan marketplaces that actually will see which loan you might qualify for. And once you have compared lenders, pick the loan option that makes the most sense for your unique situation. Remember, it's not always about the lowest APR loan. It's about can I qualify? Can you qualify for this specific loan? Okay, and because sometimes a loan can have a high APR, but it can also have a large approval. Okay, like if you take Avon, for example, Avon, they approve you for 40 grand or 35 grand, I believe, but they charge you pretty high APR too. So if you are in a situation where you really need cash real quick and you don't care about the APR, then it might make sense to go for a lender that actually is more amenable to you. Because sometimes you got to be, again, going back to what I said about being strategic, you got to go for the lowest hanging fruits. Okay, what's easy for you to get first. Because you ain't got no time thinking about, no. You want to go for a loan that's quote unquote easier for you. And one thing I also want you to do, by the way, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Okay. And so how do you get an emergency loan with bad credit? So you shop around and compare the lenders. You chose your emergency loan. Now you need to fill out an application. So ideally, as I said before, you basically want to go for a loan that will pre-qualify you so you can have a clear idea how much you might qualify for. Remember, pre-qualification doesn't mean that you'll get a loan, but at least it gives you a chance to see how much you might qualify for without decimating, without damaging your credit score further. So once you actually have a loan that you're comfortable with, fill out the application. And usually everything happens online. Okay, if you do things online, you can just complete a formal application. You can do it in person. Also, you can go to a branch if you are talking about a bank or a credit union. Okay, but if you have an online lender, by definition, everything happens online, so that's kind of fine too. Okay, and be prepared to share basic financial information and submit documentation like your government issued ID, your tax returns, and pay stubs. So simply because you have bad credit, do not actually confuse bad credit and bad financial situation. You have a lot of folks who have a good job. People have a great 9 to 5. They're making a lot of cash, but they just happen to have bad credit because of past financial mismanagement. Stuff happens. You go through stuff. You get divorced or you get sick. Whatever. One thing leading to another. You actually default on a loan or whatever. So you make sure that you have your pay stubs. Okay. And so once you do that, you just get your funds. It's very easy. It's not really that complicated. I mean, especially if you have a lot of lenders nowadays who have understood that getting a large emergency loan it shouldn't be that complicated. As long as you have the proper paperwork. You got to have a bank account so that they can wire the funds to your account. Okay. Now let's quickly have some conversations about what can an emergency loan be used for, because the thing is that if you're looking for a large emergency loan, the government has actually put some restrictions around what the loans can be used for, because you have to understand government authorities are worried about money laundering. They're worried about criminal activities, people using the cash to do things they're not supposed to do, right? And so it's like the bank will ask you, the lender will ask you, what are you going to use the emergency loan for? And please be truthful. Don't start lying, like saying, I need the money for activity X, and then the lender realizes that you're using the money for activity Y. This is not good. Okay, so an emergency loan can be used for a lot of things like medical bills, dental costs, unexpected car repairs, urgent home renovations or repairs, right? Something happens in the basement, something leaking, whatever, electricity wise, electrical, like a lot of stuff. Okay. You also you can use the cash for emergency vet care for your pet. Unplanned moving costs, stuff happens like, you have to move real quick and you did not plan it. And rent or mortgage payments to avoid foreclosure. Yeah, people go through stuff. I mean, I'm telling you, a lot of stuff happens, and you just need to get that cash anyway, because you can't be sitting around just thinking about, I'll probably wait for my paycheck. Well, your paycheck is not going to be enough. You got to take care of business right now, and that's what it is, right? And you can also use the cash for the emergency loan for funeral and burial expenses. So, as is the case with traditional personal loans, you cannot use an emergency loan for college tuition, a down payment on a house, gambling, or illegal activities. Okay, it's important to really pay attention to that. So the lender will pay, because the lender is not like, they're not trying to be tough on you. No, they just have to comply with federal and state requirements, state regulations. That's all it is. Let me talk to you about how to compare emergency loan lenders, because it's important. You're looking for a large emergency loan. By the way, I want to quickly remind everybody with today's topic. I am talking to you today about how to get a large emergency loan with bad credit, and you want to get a fast approval. Okay, and so I'm giving you the step-by-step, the A to Z that you need to follow so that you get your cash real quick. And the thing here is that when we talk about comparing emergency loan lenders, you have to understand that you have several important factors that you need to keep in mind as you weigh your lender options for emergency loans. And so you want to pay attention to eligibility requirements. This is really important because this is going to tell you which lender will be, going back to what I said earlier, which lender will be more amenable to your application. What about the loan amounts? Yeah, in most cases, you can borrow as little as $600 up to $100,000 with the personal loan for emergencies. Yeah, $100,000. Okay, we have Fifth Third, for example, which is a big bank, a regional bank that actually offers that much money. Obviously, you got to qualify for it anyway. So think about the interest rates also. This is really important. Okay, think about the repayment terms. Those are important. Remember, repayment terms typically range from 1 to 7 years, depending on the lender. So while choosing a longer term can actually get you a lower monthly payment, a shorter term will keep your interest costs as low as possible. So this is a kind of, you need to think about the two sides of the equation here. Also think about the time to fund. The time to fund. So if you are approved, you can expect to get your funds anywhere from the same or next business day you're approved up to 1 week, and sometimes longer, depending on the lender. Or sometimes they might actually ask you for extra paperwork, right? So you get your cash. The sooner you give them the extra paperwork, the sooner you get your cash. So that's why we always say, for emergency loans, please do not ghost the lender. If they ask you extra paperwork, let's say they ask you for your tax returns, or they ask for something that was not clear to them, please make sure you get back to them as soon as possible. This is really important. Now, let's really talk a little bit about the types of emergency loans that you need to avoid. Okay, everybody understands that, if you remember, when I started this conversation, I said to you that there are some lenders that are legit, they are decent, they have decent APRs, they have decent terms, they have decent prepayment windows and whatnot. And then you have other lenders, emergency loan lenders, they have like pretty crappy sort of offers. Okay, if push comes to shove, maybe you can go to those crappy, quote unquote, crappy lenders. But if you have a choice, it's just a lot better to avoid them altogether. Okay, try to avoid them. Do not engage with them at all. So here are some of the emergency loans that you need to avoid. Payday loans. So payday loans are small, short-term loans designed to hold you over until your next payday. Okay, and the thing is, if you can take a payday loan once because of once out of the blue, because stuff happens, been there, done that, but don't make it a habit. Do not make it a habit, because once you start making it a habit, that's when you get into a situation where you start realizing, what the F is happening here. Okay, so payday loans are not good. When we think about emergency loans, we want to think about other loan types. And also you want to avoid title loans. So title loans are also another category that you might want to avoid. And also I want you to avoid pawn shop loans. So pawn shop loans are kind of, they're kind of like, it's one of those things where you have to think, it's a last resort sort of a place. Okay, so pawn shop with pawn shop loans, you secure a valuable item like a diamond ring or a guitar in return for money. And just like payday loans, pawn shop loans are known for extremely high fees and interest rates. So, and if you don't repay your loan as agreed, the pawn shop can sell your items. Okay, so those are really those are the top three sort of loans you want to avoid, because they will actually just damage your financial situation, which is already damaged, if you will. Okay, because if you have bad credit, that's because you've made some decisions in the past. You could be making money, but you are still are on your path to improving your financial situation. The last thing I want to share with you, the best emergency loans for bad credit borrowers. Okay. And by the way, I want to quickly remind everybody of today's topic. How do you get an emergency loan, a large emergency loan with bad credit and fast approval? Okay. And I want to share with you a few of them, because it's good to know that, so you have a clear idea where to go to get your large loans for your large emergency loan for bad credit. So we first have Alliant Credit Union. So Alliant is pretty great for same day loans online. Okay. And they will actually approve you from $1,000 to $50,000. This is really good. We love that. And basically Alliant is a credit union, so you got to be a member of the credit union to qualify for the loan. But membership is open to anybody, regardless of geography, of profession, or biology. And then we have SoFi. So SoFi is basically an online lender that can approve loans, emergency loans, for up to $100,000 with no fees. This is really good. And we also have Upstart. So Upstart is great for borrowers with no credit or poor credit, really poor credit. So Upstart is really a lending platform that uses AI, artificial intelligence, to improve access to affordable credit. And so you can actually qualify from $1,000 to $50,000. And then you have PNC Bank, one of the major second tier bank in the States. I mean, second tier is not a bad thing. It just means that they are more regional than national. And PNC is kind of cool, because with PNC you can actually get emergency loans up to $35,000. Although with PNC, disbursement might take a while, though. It might take 1 week. So if you're really looking for a true emergency loan, PNC is not really the place to go. But okay, they still have a good offer, so we wanted to share them with you. And then you have Upgrade. So Upgrade is great for loan amounts of up to $50,000. And Upgrade, basically, they do a lot of stuff. I mean, what we love about Upgrade is that they actually they can actually convert your they can give you a personal line of credit also. So this could be great if you, instead of getting a personal loans, you can get a personal line of credit, so that you have access to money that you need anyway. And what we love here is that Upgrade is constantly changing the kind of offer they have. Okay, so that's great. So overall, here you have it. So you have the best emergency loans for bad credit borrowers. So if you're interested and you want to have a bad credit sort of emergency loan, you want to go to Alliant Credit Union, to SoFi, to Upstart, to PNC, to Upgrade. So you can see that the loan amounts are pretty consequential, right? You can actually borrow all the way to $100,000 in the case of SoFi. So this is really great. And one thing I also want to say here is that please be mindful of the fact that those lenders, they might change their conditions every now and then. Okay, so nobody's static. Everybody is trying to change. So it is what it is. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about how to get a large emergency loan with bad credit. So I explained to you where to get an emergency loan in the first place, how to get an emergency loan with bad credit, what can emergency loans be used for, how to compare emergency loan lenders, the types of emergency loans to avoid, and the best emergency loans for bad credit borrowers. Thank you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.